I've been going to therapy for this, and my therapist keeps telling me I handled it well. But honestly, I don't feel like I handled it well. I feel like I just got incredibly lucky. I'm 21, a junior at the University of Toledo. I also work part-time at a Panera Bread about 10 minutes from campus. My shifts usually end late, around 9 or 10 at night. I park in the Centennial parking garage on campus because it's the closest one to my dorm. It has 5 levels, and it's always pretty empty by the time I get back from a closing shift. For 2 semesters straight, I had a routine. I parked in the exact same spot every time. Level 4, row G, right near the stairwell. It was well lit, close to the exit, and I could see my car from the stairwell landing before I even walked out onto the floor. That last part, that turned out to be really important. So, one Tuesday in October, I got off work at 9:30. I drove back, pulled into the garage, and went to my usual spot. Level 4 was practically deserted, maybe 5 other cars spread across the whole floor. I grabbed my bag, locked my car, and started walking toward the stairwell. As I was walking, I noticed a dark-colored van parked at the very end of the row. It had no windows on the sides, and it was running. I could see the exhaust puffing out in the cold air. The headlights were off, but the engine was definitely on. I didn't think much of it at first. I mean, people sit in their cars all the time. But I noticed it. I just filed it away in the back of my mind and kept walking. The next night, Wednesday, same thing. I parked in my spot. The van was there. Same spot at the end of the row. Engine running, lights off. This time, I looked a little more carefully as I walked past. I was maybe 30 feet away. I couldn't see through the windshield because of the glare from the garage lights. Thursday night, the van was there again. Same spot. Still running. That's when I started to feel a little uneasy. But I tried to rationalize it. I told myself it was probably just someone waiting to pick up a friend, or maybe someone who likes to watch videos on their phone before going inside. People do that, right? Then came the following Tuesday. I got off work late, almost 10. I pulled into level 4, and my eyes immediately went to the end of the row, but the van wasn't there. For a second, I felt relieved, but then I saw it. It wasn't in its usual spot. It was parked right next to my usual space, the space I had been parking in every night for 2 semesters. My heart just dropped. I did not park there. I drove right past it, went up to level 5, and found a spot under a bright light right near the elevator. I just sat in my car for a few minutes, my mind racing. This van had been here for at least 4 nights that I knew of. It was always running. And now, it had moved. I called my friend Marcus and asked him if he could please meet me at the stairwell on level 5. We started walking down the stairs. Marcus wanted to look at level 4 on our way down. The van was still there, still running. But as we passed the stairwell door for level 4, Marcus suddenly stopped and grabbed my arm. He whispered, "Someone's standing behind that pillar." I looked through the small window in the stairwell door. There's a big concrete pillar at the end of each parking row, and behind the pillar nearest to the van, maybe 10 feet from the passenger side door, a person was standing. All I could see were their shoes. Dark shoes, with the toes pointing directly at the stairwell door, pointing toward where I would have been walking if I had parked in my spot. They came back about 20 minutes later and said the van was gone. The person was gone. And to make things worse, they told us there were no security cameras on level 4. Apparently, half of them had been broken for months, and the university just had gotten around to replacing them. The officers took our names and just said they'd increase patrols in the area. 2 days later, I got a mass email from campus safety. It said a student in a different dorm had reported someone following her in that same parking garage just the week before. The email just advised students to use the buddy system and call for a campus escort if needed. I never found out who was in that van. I never saw it again, but I can't stop thinking about it. I keep thinking about how many times I must have walked right past it, totally oblivious. How many times did I walk past that pillar on level 4, alone, at 10 o'clock at night, while someone was standing right there, behind it, watching me? How many times did they watch me walk by before they finally decided to move the van and park next to my spot? I park on level 1 now, right by the attendant booth, and Marcus walks me to my car a couple of times a week. Sometimes it feels excessive, but then I remember the image of those shoes, pointed at the stairwell door, just 10 feet from where I would have been if I had looked up and noticed that the van had moved. The university never sent a follow-up email. No suspect description, no news of an arrest, nothing. I filed a separate report with the Toledo Police Department, and the officer who took my statement was more forthcoming. He said it sounded like it could be connected to a whole string of incidents near campus garages over the past year. He couldn't give me any specific details, but he told me I should always walk with someone and never use that garage above level 2 at night. I started having trouble sleeping after that. Not because of nightmares, but because my mind would just replay the logistics of it all. That person wasn't just waiting around randomly. They had figured out my pattern. They knew I parked in the same spot every time. They were there for at least the 4 nights I noticed, but probably more before that. And when they moved that van next to my spot, they were ready. The person behind the pillar was in position. If I'd parked where I always parked and walked to the stairwell the way I always walked, I would have passed within arm's reach of them. My therapist says I should feel empowered because I listened to my instincts and got myself out of a dangerous situation. But I don't feel empowered. I just feel sick to my stomach that I ever needed to. Please, always be aware of your surroundings, and if something feels wrong, it probably is. Trust that feeling. Thanks for listening. Stay safe out there.